initiate the recording. Art, we're ready to go.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope everybody's been safe and healthy. I'd like to open this meeting in memory of firefighter Jonathan Flagger, who passed away unexpectedly fighting a fire on January 6th at the age of 47. He served 19 years with the City of Vernon Fire Department before transitioning to the County of LA in October 2020. On behalf of the City of Vernon, I extend my deepest sympathies to the family of firefighter Flagger. If you can all please stand and join me in the flag salute, please. And if everybody can mute their mics, I'd really appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Ibarra.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Present.
Councilmember Larios.
Here.
Councilmember Merlo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move.
Can I get a
Second.
second? With the motion from Councilmember Larios and a second from Councilmember Lopez. City Clerk, can you call the roll?
Mayor Ibarra.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Yes.
Councilmember Larios.
Yes.
Councilmember Merlo.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll take public comment from members of the audience. If you'd like to provide a comment through Zoom, please click the raise hand button. Are there any public comments at this time?
I see no hands raised.
Thank you. Seeing that there isn't any, we'll now go on to presentations item. Presentation item number 1 is the Employee Service Pin Awards for November and December 2021. Human Resource Director Earl will present the item.
Good morning, Mayor and members of the City Council. During the months of November and December, we had 6 employees achieve service milestones with the city. I believe 3 of them are present via Zoom this morning. I'm hoping that they're there. First off, we'd like to recognize Gustavo De Loza for 5 years of service. He was hired as a street maintenance worker in the Public Works Department on November 29th, 2016, and was promoted to senior street maintenance worker on March 29th, 2021. Please join me in recognizing Gustavo De Loza for 5 years of service with the city. Next, we have Claudia Arellano, who's being recognized this morning for 30 years of service to the city. Claudia was hired as a utility clerk in city administration on November 4th, 1991. Since that time, she's held the positions of secretary of the Director of Community Services and Water, Department Secretary, Assistant to the Director of Community Services, Project Engineer, Stormwater and Special Projects Analyst, and is currently serving as the Utilities Program Analyst, a position that she's held since December of 2020. Please join me in recognizing Claudia Arellano for 30 years of service. Next, we have Kenneth P. Jackson, also being recognized for 30 years of service. Kenny was hired as a utility man in the Community Services Department on November 3rd of 1991. He then held the position of Senior Facilities Maintenance Worker and then was promoted to Lead Facilities Maintenance Worker on October 29, 2017. He was again promoted to Facilities Maintenance Worker Supervisor on August 29th, 2021. And please join me in recognizing Kenny Jackson for 30 years of service to the City of Vernon. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, everybody, for your many years of service here with the city. Now we'll go on to agenda item number 2, the fiscal year 2021 Electric Fund audited financial results. Finance Director Williams will present the item.
Yes, good morning, Honorable Mayor, honorable members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to report this morning for the Council's review and evaluation the fiscal year 2020 and 21 audited financial statements for the Light and Power Fund. Now, our plan and every expectation is next month to present all of the financials for all city funds. But as the council recalled, just the recent bond issuance with the electric fund, there was a stipulation in the indenture that we report to the council the financial statements for the electric fund only this month. So this morning we have here to deliver the report, Bob Callanan with the city's contracted audit firm, Clifton Larson Allen, to present the report and of course be available for any questions. Bob?
Yes, thank you, Scott. Good morning, council. Pleased to be with you. I'm the audit principal on the engagement for the city audit, and I'm here to present the financial statements for the electric fund. Basically going through kind of an audit report. The high level thing is that we gave it an unmodified opinion. That's the highest form of opinion, saying that the financial statements presented before you for the electric fund are fairly stated in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So it's an unmodified opinion. We did not have any audit adjustments to the trial balance that was provided to us. City staff did provide us, I think, 3 journal entries after we started our audit, but they were predicated on their work and closing, and pretty typical. One has to do with the liability related to pensions and OPEB. So no surprises there. There were no disagreements with management on any issues. We didn't have any difficulties in performing our audit. There are no significant changes in the presentation of the financial statements compared to the prior years. So everything was pretty standard with regards to this audit. And just our audit opinions on page 2 of our report at the top of the page, which is that unmodified opinion. And with that, the city's electric fund as of June 30, 2021 had 130.5 million as of June 30th, 2021 net position. That's on page 12 of the report. And there was a positive change in net position for the year, which you'll find on page 13 of $2.1 million. So with that, I will just open it up to any questions you might have related to the audit process.
Thank you, council. Are there any questions regarding this audit? Okay, seeing that there's none, thank you very much for your time. Are there any further follow-up, Scott?
I think a couple of things that I would just point out to the council that are so positive, and one is that the health and performance of the electric fund. The council is aware that over the last more than 2 years of the course of the state emergency and the pandemic, the fund has been very stable and really the opposite of what many cities experience. And so it has continued to go strong. That is reflected in the revenues. The second is one of the things that Bob noted is that we're already in an excellent cash and fund balance position, and that actually improved year over year. So it's continuing to go the right direction. And lastly, I'd point out that cash balance. That was something that our rating agencies note as such a strong point, such a strong suit of the electric utility. And we are actually at, if you just isolate operating expenses, we're at more than 80%. That is exactly where we want to be, and it's where we want to continue to be. So these are some positive elements that we see reflected in these financial statements.
Great, thank you. Okay, if we're done, if there's no further follow-ups or questions from council, we'll go on to consent calendar. Thank you very much, Mr. Callahan. Yes?
If
Thank
we
you.
could just get a motion to receive and file the report.
Sure, may I get a motion to receive and file?
I'll move.
I'll second.
With a move from Councilmember Lopez and a second from Larios, City Clerk?
Mayor Ibarra,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
yes,
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Larios,
Yes.
Councilmember Merlo.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion. Items may be removed from the consent calendar by any member of the council. Those items removed will be considered immediately after the consent calendar. Does council wish to pull any items from the consent calendar? Are there any public comments for the consent calendar?
There are no hands raised in Zoom.
Thank you. May I have a motion for the consent calendar, items number 3 to 12?
I move.
I'll second.
With the motion from Mayor Pro Tem Davis and a second sounded like from Councilmember Lopez. City Clerk?
I was wondering the same thing. To approve the consent calendar.
I think it was Merlot.
Oh,
Oh, it's from- okay. Okay, with the second from Councilmember Merlo.
to approve consent calendar items 3 through 12, which includes introduction of ordinance number 1277, adopting the 2021 recodified and republished Vernon Municipal Code. I'll call the roll. Mayor Ibarra,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Larios,
Yes.
Councilmember Merlo.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll now go on to new business. Agenda item number 13 is the mandatory organic waste disposal reduction ordinance. Health and Environmental Control Director Adrian will present their staff report.
Good morning, Mayor and council members. Happy New Year again.
Morning.
To see everyone healthy. The item before you is the mandatory organic waste disposal reduction ordinance. And staff is bringing it item to council to waive the full reading and introduce and conduct first reading of the ordinance number 1278. Adding chapter 8.14 to the Vernon Municipal Code to regulate mandatory organic waste disposal reduction. And to direct staff to schedule second reading and adoption of the February 1st, 2020 second city council meeting. Just a background on this ordinance. Senate Bill 1383 established methane emissions reduction target in a statewide effort to reduce emissions of short-lived climate pollutants such as methane in various sectors of California economy. Action to reduce the short-lived climate pollutants are essential to address the many impacts of climate change on human health and on the environment. Targets to achieve a 50% reduction in level of the statewide disposal of organic waste from 2014 level by 2022 and a 75% reduction by 2025 are components of SB 1383. The California Department of Resources and Recycling Recovery, known as CalRecycle, has been tasked with managing the organic waste disposal reduction target and establishes an additional target that not less than 20% of currently disposed edible food is recovered for human consumption by 2025. SB 1383 will further support California's effort to achieve the statewide 75% recycling goal established by Assembly Bill 341 and strengthen the implementation of mandatory commercial organics recycling established by Assembly Bill 1826. SB 1383 required all jurisdictions, including City of Vernon, to adopt an enforceable ordinance to implement the short-lived climate pollutants, which was set forth by CalRecycle as well as food recovery program that I mentioned. The legislation requires all California jurisdictions to implement its mandatory organic recycling programs aimed at single-family, residential, multifamily residential, and commercial solid waste generators. The law grants CalRecycle the regulatory authority to oversee the implementation of local programs the ability to monitor performance, and to levy penalties against the jurisdiction for non-compliance. On June 16, 2021, at a joint special meeting of the Business and Industrial Commission, BIC, and the Green Valley Commission, the GVC, the commissions established a BIC SB 1383 Waste Hauler Temporary Ad Hoc Committee, and Green Valley Commission established the same ad hoc for the purpose of facilitating discussion with city staff on the limited matter of city's SB 1383 solid waste management program and the consolidation of waste hauling enterprises and burning. In an effort to obtain feedback from the ad hoc committees, the Health and Environmental Control Department provided the respective members a draft mandatory organic waste disposal reduction ordinance and ordinance highlights for review. The draft ordinance analyzed by the ad hoc committee members was Cal Recycle Model Ordinance, which was utilized to ensure that all applicable mandatory recycling laws were addressed in the review process. At the November 9th, 2021 special joint meeting, the BIC and the GVC discussed the SB 1383 requirements and the city solid waste management program. In consideration of comments and feedback received from the ad hoc committee, the BIC and GVC proposed changes to the mandatory organic waste disposal reduction ordinance were as follows. One, include an exemption to the ordinance for small businesses based on SB 1383 waiver criteria. The second was to include a definition for rendering, and lastly was to include a self-hauling requirement. At the December 15, 2021 joint special BIC and GVC meeting, the revised mandatory organic waste disposal reduction ordinance, which include the BIC and GVC proposed recommendations, was reviewed and the commissions recommended the city council adopt the ordinance. The mandatory organic waste disposal reduction ordinance is being presented to city council today for review and adoption. There is no fiscal impact associated with this report. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Freddie. Are there any questions from council at this time regarding this topic? Freddie, I do have a question. How did they, sorry, I gotta get back into the, how did the ad hoc committee come up with the exemption for the small businesses? On that item one, include an exemption in the ordinance for small businesses. Why did
Yes, ma'am. So the exemption was already as part of the Cal Recycle model ordinance. When we sent it out for the review, we didn't want to direct anybody one way or another, so we took all exemptions out on the original one that was drafted. And part of the recommendation was, which Cal Recycle already in the ordinance, that businesses that don't generate enough, a certain amount can be exempt for meeting that requirement. So that was part of the feedback we received. So that criteria is already in that the law already.
Okay, and then how are you gonna roll this out to the residents and inform them of the new changes?
So that is the next step, is to do education and outreach. So that's what we're doing. Cal Recycle actually have just come up with a grant, and I think we're gonna apply for, I think, $20,000 that we should be able to get, and that is part of the outreach and education to residents and businesses about the rollout. So that's how we're gonna do it.
Okay, and to my understanding, this started January 1st. Is there a penalty just because we're rolling it out late, a little bit later?
If we don't have it in place by, they give us kind of grace period to March, at that point, yes, there's a possibility there'll be a penalty. However, we can ask for a waiver because of the part of the push that jurisdiction tried for Cal Recycle to push it by because of COVID and everything that happened. was not to have the 2022 start, but the answer was no. However, they were able to give us a waiver if you can get that implemented. But our goal is everything will be in place that we don't need to ask for that waiver.
Okay, Council, are there any further questions from anybody? Okay, are there any public comments on this item?
Mayor, there are no hands raised in Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Seeing that there's no more further questions or any hands raised, I may have a motion for this item.
I'll move.
May I have a second?
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Lopez and a second from Mayor Pro Tem Davis. City Clerk, can you call roll?
Motion is to find the action exempt under CEQA, waive full reading and introduce and conduct first reading of ordinance number 1278, adding chapter 8.14 to the Vernon Municipal Code to regulate mandatory organic waste disposal reduction and direct staff to schedule second reading for February 1st, 2022. Mayor Ibarra,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
8 yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Larios,
Yes.
Councilmember Merlo.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll go on to oral report. City Administrator Bandino, do you have a report?
Yes, I do, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Good morning. The Vernon Community Fund Scholarship Program, I'm pleased to announce that the program is now accepting applications for the 2022 calendar year. The deadline to apply is March 31st, 2022. So if you could please get the word out to local students. An announcement was recently broadcasted over the city's social media platforms, and we will continue to advertise the Vernon Scholarship opportunity through direct communications and community partners. In honor of firefighter Jonathan Flagler, who recently passed away in the line of duty, we are having services this week. On Thursday, January 20th at 10 a.m., a flag ceremony will be held at Vernon Fire Station number 13 at Fruitland. We will have family members and LA County attending that event. And then on Friday, January 21st at 10 a.m., a memorial service will be held at Cottonwood Church at Los Alamitos. They're expecting over 3,000 people attending. So if you cannot attend in person, a memorial service will be live streamed in the LA County Fire Facebook page. We continue to keep fallen firefighter family and friends, loved ones, and colleagues in our thoughts and prayers as they cope through this heartbreaking loss. Other than that, I have nothing further to report.
Thank you. Are there any reports from council at this time? No, we'll now go on to closed session item for agenda number 14, 15, and 16. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you. Matt, are you gonna send me a link?
Carlos, I think our office
believe,
sent the link.
City
I can
Clerk-
forward it to you. If anyone else needs a link, just let me know and I'll forward the closed session Zoom.
Can you send it through Teams?
Sure.
All right, we're all good.
Thank you. We're now back at closed session at 9:58. Interim City Attorney Musa, provide a report, please.
On item number 14, council gave settlement authority on a 5-0 vote. On closed session items, sorry, is that item 14?
No, it's correction on item 15. We had settlement.
Correction. Item 15, council gave settlement authority and direction on a 5-0 vote. And on items 14 and 16, no reportable action is taken.
Thank you. And like I opened the meeting, I'm now going to adjourn this meeting in memory of firefighter Jonathan Flagler, who passed away unexpectedly fighting a firefight on January 6th. I hope to see you all Thursday, if possible, at the ceremony at Fire Station, whatever number it is now.
13.
Formerly one, formerly another one, and now whatever is LA County number. And have a wonderful, safe, and stay dry and warm. I adjourn this meeting. It is now 9:59. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.